Yes, good morning to my dear students. In the previous class, we are discussing about most important about the DC roll line, and also we studied about the endpoints, how to find the endpoints of DC roll line, or how to draw the DC roll line. And today we'll look on another two important concepts. One is about cue point. What is the importance of cue point? What is cue point? And what is the necessity of cue point? And finally, we go for the different types of biasing cycles. Once again, you will recall what you studied in the previous class. Actually, we studied about the DC roll line. DC roll line. As we know already, we have studied in the last class, the DC roll line. What is DC roll line? The name indicates their meaning. Why it is called DC roll line? Because you are considering only the DC power supply, or you are applying only the DC voltages. And also, as I said in the last class, it is a line drawn on the output characteristics of the CE amplifier. As we know about output characteristics, in x-axis you are having the VCE, and in y-axis you are having the IC. It means output voltage, output current. What is called DC roll line? A line drawn on the output characteristics, and it represents the different values of the output voltage corresponding to the different output current. Later, what is called DC roll line? A line drawn on the output characteristics of a CE configuration, and here the important thing about zero signal conditions. It means, as I said in the last class, what is the meaning of zero signal conditions? Means we are not applying any input voltage. We are not applying any input voltage. It means the DC roll line is nothing but a line drawn on the output characteristics of the CE configuration. It will give the different values of the output voltage corresponding to different output current with a zero signal conditions. It is nothing but your DC roll line. Another way of definition, very very simple. It is a line drawn on the 2 points. One is called your cutoff point and saturation point with a zero signal condition. What is DC roll line? A line drawn on the 2 points, cutoff point and saturation point with a zero signal condition. This is nothing but your DC roll line. And we may ask the question, sir, what is the use of the DC roll line? Why you want to draw the DC roll line? Actually, the important thing about DC roll line, the DC roll line contains, the DC roller contains different operating points. The DC roller contains different operating points. The DC roll line contains or represents the different cue points. And now we'll go for what is called cue point. Maybe in the time of biasing, I said about the you are giving more importance to the cue point. And as I said, what is the need for biasing? In the time I said, what I said, the first important condition, if you apply the input signal, then what happens? The cue point should be in the middle of the active region. If you apply the input signal, should not move towards the saturation or it move towards the cutoff region. It means always the cue point should be in the middle of the active region. That's why I am going for the biasing. And also I said second important point is about stability of the collector current against the temperature. If the temperature may vary above or below or increase or decrease, that also may shift, that will vary the collector current. If the collector current may vary, then what happens? The Q point may shift. And finally, as I said about when you replace the transistor for same if you in a circuit you are replacing the transistor with the same type, then also the Q point should not shift. That should, if you are replacing the transistor of same type, then also the Q point should be in the middle of the active region. This is the importance of your need for biasing. As you know, already you studied in the earlier classes. But today we'll go for the most important thing about Q point. It is also called as, we are having so many names for the Q point. One is, it is also called as operating point. It is also called as operating point. It is also called as bias point. Bias point. And it is also called as quiescent. Q nothing but quiescent. Quiescent point. These are the different names of your Q point. The Q nothing but quiescent point, operating point, bias point. These are the different names of your Q point. Now we look for what is the Q point. What is the definition of Q point? Look here, to go for the definition of Q point. Once again you draw the output characteristics of your CE configuration. As we know here, this is you are having the output voltage, you are having the output current, and as I said, this is your cutoff point, this is your saturation point, and here you are having the Q point. If you know this, the graph, you can form your own definition of Q point. What is Q point? Very simple. The Q point, nothing but it is a point on the DC load line, because this is, you know already, this is nothing but your VCC by RC, and this is nothing but your VCC equal to VCE. It means this is your cutoff point, this is your saturation point. And what is called the Q point? Nothing but a point on the DC load line. It will give you the output voltage as well as it will give you the output current with a no signal condition or with a zero signal condition. That is something but your Q point. It means the Q point is nothing but a point on the DC load line. It will give you the output voltage, that is VCE, and corresponding output current IC with a zero signal condition or without applying any input signal. Right? But don't confuse on Q point and DC load line. So many students will confuse DC load line. Look here in the both the definitions. What is the common here in your Q point or your DC load line? The thing is no signal condition. This is important. No signal condition. This is common for the both. It may be DC load line or it may be the your Q point. What is the difference? Their name indicates their difference. As I said, Q point is nothing but a point on the DC load line, and it will give you the output voltage, output DC voltage, and corresponding output DC current with a no signal condition. This is nothing but the Q point. What about DC load line? As I said in the beginning, the DC load line is a line drawn on the output characteristics. It will also give you the different output voltages corresponding different output current with a zero signal condition. It means in the both the, it may be the Q point or it may be DC load line. The important thing is that no signal condition. It means in the both the cases we are not applying any input signal. Without applying any input signal, we know about the output voltage and output current. It means we know about the DC output voltage and DC output current. That is nothing but your the difference about the Q point and DC load line. And what is the importance of Q point? Why you are giving more importance to the Q point? And as I said, to identify the application of the transistor, as I said, we know already in your most important application of transistor, that is your amplifier. The most important application of your transistor, that is nothing but amplifier. And second one is about switch. And how to identify if the transistor is used as an amplifier or it is used as a switch? It means by knowing the Q point, where the Q point is there on the DC load line, we can identify your transistor is used as an amplifier or it is used as a switch. It means in transistor, the most important application, it is used as an amplifier, it is used as a switch. And as I said already, whenever the transistor is used as a amplifier, and as I said here, this is your output characteristics, and this is your VCE, and as we know already, you are drawing the DC load line. Why to draw the DC load line? To get the different Q points. We get the different Q points. And as we know already, this is your saturation point, that is nothing but VCC by RC, and this will give your cutoff point, that is nothing but your VCC equal to VCE. And as I said here, this is one point, this is another point, this is another point. It may be the A point, it may be the B point, it may be the C point. And already we know, whenever the transistor is used as an amplifier, the most important thing, it should be in the active region. The transistor should be in the active region. And also the important thing, the Q point should be in the middle of the active region. As we know, this is nothing but your active region, this is nothing but your saturation region, and this is nothing but your cutoff region. It means whenever your Q point is in the middle of the active region, that indicates your transistor used as a amplifier. It means, as we know, what is the importance of Q point? Once you know the Q point, you can easily identify what is the use of your transistor. If the Q point is in the middle of the active region, that indicates your transistor used as a amplifier. It may be, if the Q point may be in the near to the cutoff region, or for example, it may be the point A. As we know, point A is near to the cutoff region. If the Q point is near to the cutoff region, then what is the use of the transistor? As we know already, we are having another important application of transistor, that is used as a switch. And also we know, we are having switch having two conditions. It may be the on or it may be the off. And we know already, whenever the switch is on, your transistor will be in the saturation region. Your transistor should be in the saturation region. And another way of your switch is off, that is nothing but cutoff region. It means whenever the Q point is near to the saturation region, that indicates your transistor acts in the on switch. Whenever the Q point is in the near to the saturation, that indicates it is used as a on switch. If the Q point may be in the C point or it is near to the cutoff region, in that term it is used as a off switch. Whenever the Q point is in the middle of the active region, then your transistor is used as a amplifier, and whenever the Q point is in the near to the saturation, that is used as the on switch, and if the Q point is near to the cutoff, that is called as off switch. It means by knowing the Q point where it is near to the cutoff or near to the saturation, or it is in the middle of the active region, you can identify the application of your transistor. And another important thing is about already you have studied. We want the faithful applications. We want the faithful application. It means what? Whatever you are given the input, that is coming to the output, only you are increasing the strength of the signal without changing the shape of signal. What is called faithful application? Without changing the shape of the signal, only you are increasing the amplitude of the signal. That is nothing but the faithful application. The thing is that only the Q point is in the middle of active region, you will get the 100% amplification, or you will get the faithful amplification. If the condition may be, if the Q point is near to the cutoff or it may be near to the saturation, we are not getting the faithful applications. For example, you consider your input here. The input is near to the, your input is near to the saturation. What happens? As I said already, if the Q point is near to the saturation, what happens? You are not getting, for example, is your input. You are applying the input is signal, and what you are getting the output. This is your input. What you are getting the output? You are getting the output. The positive half cycle will be clipped. The positive half cycle will be clipped. This portion will be clipped. It means you are not getting the 100% output. We are not getting the 100%, or you are not getting the faithful application. You are not getting the faithful application. Thing is that when you are giving more importance to the Q point should be in the middle of active region, because if the Q point is near to saturation, if you apply the input signal, what will output? Will get the output, only you will get the negative half cycle. The positive half cycle will be clipped. Or in another way, you are not getting the, you will get the distortions. You will get the distortions. You are not getting the 100% output. Output maybe you will get the distortions. Right? That's why we are not preferring the Q point should be in the near to saturation. It may be, if the Q point, it should be in the, your input should be, if you apply the input signal near to the, if you apply input near to the cutoff region, then what happens? If you apply the input signal near to the cutoff, then what happens? For example, this is your input signal. As we know already, we are applying the AC signal as an input, and this is your input. I will get the output. How will you get the output? We will get the output. The negative half cycle will be clipped. The negative half cycle will be clipped. It means, once again, we are not getting the exact output. We are not getting the exact output. It means if the Q point is near to the cutoff region, what will get? We are not getting the faithful application, the negative half cycle will be clipped, or we are not getting the 100% faithful application, the output will be distorted. You will get the distortion in the output. That's why you are not preferring the Q point should be near to the cutoff. For example, if the Q point is in the middle of the active region, if the Q point is in the middle of the active region, if you apply the input signal in the middle of the active region, then what happens? You are applying the input signal in the middle of the active region. It means the Q point is in the middle of the active region. Then what happens? This is once again you are applying the input. This is your input signal and this is your output signal. What happens? You are applying the same input signal sine wave. You are applying the sinusoidal signal as input, but we will get the output. What will get the output? We will get the 100% faithful application. Only thing is that we are increasing the strength of the signal. We are increasing the amplitude of the signal. And you compare here whatever the input, you are getting same the output. You are not changing the shape of the signal. Only you are changing the amplitude and magnitude of signal. And it is nothing but your amplifier. What is amplifier? It amplifies the signal. It will be increase the big signal. It strengthens the big signals, or it will increase the amplitude of the signal. That happens only in the if your Q point is in the middle of the active region. It means if the Q point is near to the, this is also called as importance of Q point, or your how to select the Q point. Selecting the Q point is also important. Maybe ask question for 2 marks. How you are selecting the Q point on the DC load line? On which basis you are selecting the Q point on the DC load line? It means if the Q point is near to the saturation, we are not getting the 100% output. We may get the output, but that output will be distorted, or we will get the positive half cycle will be clipped. In another case, if your Q point is in the near to the cutoff region, then also you will get the output. That output also once again the distorted, or you can say your negative half cycle will be clipped. And when you will get the 100% amplification? The thing is that if your Q point is in the middle of the active region, we will get the 100% amplification, or we will get the faithful amplification. We are not having any distortions. We will get the 100% the faithful amplification. This is the importance of your Q point. Keep it in mind always whenever you are considering user amplifier. The thing is that the Q point should not shift towards the saturation. It should not shift towards the cutoff. That's why I said at the beginning the necessity of your biasing. I just said if it may shift towards saturation, what happens? The positive half cycle will clip. If the Q point may shift towards the cutoff, then what happens? Negative half cycle may clip. Only the Q point, if it is the Q point is in the middle of region, will get the 100% output, or will get the faithful application. This is the importance of your Q point. And as we know about the importance of Q point and DC load line, and as I said already, to fix the Q point in the active region or to draw the DC load line, what is the important thing? That is nothing but the biasing is important. And actually we are having so many types of biasing. We are having so many types of biasing. What are the types of biasing? What are the types of biasing? Types of biasing. We are having the different types of biasing. This question also asked in the exam for 2 marks. What are the different types of biasing? The first one is called the base biasing. Base biasing. The first one is called base biasing. And second one is called collector feedback. The second one is called collector feedback bias. Collector feedback bias. And third one is about emitter. Third one is about emitter feedback bias. Emitter feedback bias. And finally, last one, this is so important. Let us call your voltage divider biasing. Voltage divider biasing. It means you are studying the different types of biasing. One is called base biasing, another is called collector feeder base biasing, collector feedback biasing, and the third one emitter feedback biasing, and finally it is called your voltage divider biasing. It is also called as universal biasing. It is also called as universal biasing, and it is also called as self biasing. Especially you have studied already in your so many cases, as we know about in your transistors. As we know about working of NPN transistors. What you have done? You have used the two power supplies, one for the input, another for the output. And here, by using the different types of biasing, why you have to use the different types of biasing? Means to avoid the so many power supplies. Only you can use only one power supply, that is used for input as well as output. Means you can reduce the cost for the power supplies. Why you have to use the two power supplies, one for input and another for output? And if you use the such type of biasing, we can use only one power supply. That only used as both. That is used as that makes the input as forward bias and makes the output as reverse bias. As we know, in your transistors, the VBB, the power supply that makes the input as forward bias. We are applying the power supply or DC voltage to make it input forward bias, and also you are applying the VCC to make it output as reverse bias. It means in your in general you are using the you are using two power supplies, and if you use two power supplies, you are having so much of cost. How to reduce the cost? Means you are using only one power supply that acts as a pole. That makes input as forward bias and also that makes output as reverse bias. And then you go for the in your voltage divider biasing, you are using only one power supply. And actually you are studying in about base biasing, collector feedback biasing, and emitter feedback biasing. You are studying in your higher classes, but you are having only the syllabus for second year PUC electronics. You are having only the voltage divider biasing. You are studying in detail about the voltage divider biasing. And first you go for the circuit analysis, and then you go for the what are the importance of voltage divider biasing. And look here, what is the use of why you are giving more importance to the voltage divider biasing? As we know, as in your as I said in your transistors, whenever or wherever you are using the transistors. Example, it may be your amplifiers. In your amplifiers or your oscillators, or your in communication. Or you can say it's not necessary. in your where you are using the voltage divider biasing. One is about in amplifiers we are using voltage divider biasing, and in your oscillators you are using voltage divider biasing, and also I said about in your communication you are using voltage divider biasing, and finally in your digital circuits, whenever you are using in digital circuits also you are using the voltage divider biasing. And why you are using voltage divider biasing, what is the importance of that, and that we go afterwards. Now we go for the circuit analysis, or we go for the what is the importance of your voltage divider biasing, and for that we go for the diagram. As we know about you are using once again the C configuration, you are using once again the C configuration, and you are going for the expression for the, you are going for the voltage divider biasing. Why it is called voltage divider biasing? Means, as we know the property of resistor, why you are using the resistor? You studied in your first year, you are having basic knowledge to divide the voltage, and here you are also using a RC. This is your as I said already, you are using the voltage divider biasing, and this is your RC, and this is your VCC, and this is your common, you are going for common emitter. This is your RE, and this is your R1, this is your R2, and you are having the, you know already about, you are having the VP here, input voltage, that is VBE, and here having the your output voltage, that is your VCE. And now you can analysis for the voltage divider biasing. And as I said here, why it is called voltage divider biasing? It is called voltage divider biasing. Voltage divider biasing. And why it is called voltage divider biasing? It means you are using the resistor R1, R2, they are in series, and we know already if the resistors are in series, we can divide the voltage. It means the R1 and R2 and VCC, that divides the voltage. Or we are using the voltage divider over here. Why it is called voltage divider biasing? Because here you are using the voltage divider biasing, you are using the rule of voltage divider rule, because the R1 and R2 they are in series, and because of the they are in series you can divide the voltage, and you are using the voltage divider rule here. That is what is called as voltage divider biasing. As I said already, in general you are using the two power supplies. One make it forward bias, another make it the reverse bias. And here you are using only one power supply, that is VCC, and that makes by using VCC at R1, R2. It means by using VCC, R1 and R2, that makes the input as forward bias. And if you use VCC and RC, that makes the output as the reverse bias. That is the importance of your why you are using only one power supply for your in the transistor amplifiers. It means only one power supply, that only acts for the input to make it forward bias, and that also used for the same to make it the output for the reverse bias. And I will go for the circuit analysis. And first what you have to do? First you have to apply the voltage divider rule. Voltage divider rule. Divider rule for the base section. For the base section. Base section. And we know already this is your base, this is your collector, and this is your emitter. And actually, as I said, the R1, R2 that is used for the to make it the voltage divider biasing. RC that is used for your to make it the reverse bias. And what is the use of RE? Why you are use RE? Means to make it the stability of the collector current, or to make it the stability of the Q point. What is the importance of RE? To make it the stability of the Q point. As I said, the Q point should be in the mid active region. To why you are using RE? To make it the Q point should be in the active region. Now, if you apply the voltage divider rule to the this base section, you can write this is your V1, this is your V2. The important thing is about the V2, or you can say about voltage across the R2. As we have studied in first year, apply the voltage divider rule, and we want the voltage across R2. Means R2 divided by the total resistance R1 plus R2, R1 plus R2 into VCC. This is the equation number 1. In some books they are given about you can write V2 or you can write VB. The VB is nothing but the base voltage. And then what you have to do? Next step, what you have to do? Apply KVL to the base section. Apply KVL to the base circuit or base section. Then what happens? Here V2, VBE plus we get the across here and the VE. Okay, right? Apply KVL to the base section, that becomes V2 equal to VBE, the voltage across base emitter section, plus the voltage across the VE. V nothing but the voltage across the emitter. Then, as we know, according to your Ohm's law, what you can write? V is equal to I into R. It means V is equal to I into RE. Then write keep as it is, V2 as it is. V2 equal to VBE plus, you can write in place of V, you can write IE into RE. Right? Then what do you want? We want IE. What do you have to do? We want IE. You take this side and V2 go that side. That becomes V2 minus VBE. V2 minus VBE, or V1 is RE. IE is equal to V2 minus VBE divided by RE. And here another important thing, as we know in transistors, the IE is equal to IC. It means in place of IE, you can write also IC. That becomes IC equal to V2 minus VBE divided by RE. I can write here also IC equal to V2 minus VBE divided by RE. This is equation number 3. This is equation number 2. Then in the last step, apply the KVL. Apply KVL. Apply the KVL on collector side. On collector circuit. Once again, how you have done, how you applied the KVL for input section, same thing and apply the output KVL for output section. That becomes VCC equal to, you can write VCC equal to IC into RC plus VCE plus VE. You can write IC RC plus VCE plus VE. Then once again you can write, in place of VE you can write I into RE. In place of VE you can write VE is equal to I into RE. VCC equal to IC into RC plus VCE plus IE into RE. Then use this relation. What is that relation? You can write IE equal to IC in the equation. That becomes VCC equal to IC into RC plus VCE. In place of IE you can write IC into RE. Then you take common here and here. What is common? You take IC is common. You take IC common and that becomes VCC equal to VCE plus, you take IC common, IC into RC plus RE. Then actually want the output voltage. The output voltage is nothing but VCE equal to VCC minus IC RC plus RE. We want the output voltage. The output voltage is nothing but VCC minus IC into RC plus RE. And this is nothing but your circuit analysis of your voltage divider biasing. And as I said here, why are giving more importance to the voltage divider biasing? Because as I said, in your voltage divider biasing, you see this equation. It may be equation number 3 or it may be equation number 4. The equation 4. You see the equation 4. In this equation 4, it does not contain the beta. It does not contain beta. It means the voltage divider biasing, it is independent of beta. The voltage divider biasing is independent of beta. It means if the beta may change, then also your Q part should be in the middle of the active region. That's why we want what I said, we want stability in the Q point. The stability in the Q point is given by your voltage divider biasing. Why you prefer voltage divider biasing? Because of we want stability in the Q point. The stability in the Q point is given by the equation, that is output voltage that contains VCC, IC, RC plus RE, but it does not contain your beta value. It means in the overall analysis of voltage divider biasing, the output voltage does not contain, or it is independent of beta. It means your Q part is independent of beta or Q part is stable. That's why we prefer the voltage divider biasing. And the last point about I said about your IE. Why you are using RE? Because if the temperature may change, it happens in your transistor, the temperature may change, then what happens? As we know about temperature depends upon your leakage current. You can say about your ICO nothing but your leakage current. It means whenever the temperature increases, what happens? The leakage current increases. And once the leakage current increases, what happens? The output current IC also increases. It means the temperature increases, the leakage current increases. Once the leakage current increases, the output current IC also increases. And whenever the output current increases, that what happens? That increases the IE, that increases the emitter current. And once the emitter current increases, that what happens? The voltage across the RE also increases. The voltage across the RE also increases. It means whenever the temperature increases, what happens? The ICO leakage current increases. The leakage current, or it is also called as the minority current, that increases because that depends on temperature. If the temperature increases, the leakage current or minority current increases, and that will increase the collector current. Once the collector current increases, that will increase the emitter current. Once the emitter current increases, what happens? That will increase the voltage across the RE. And this voltage across RE, what that will do? That will decrease the VBE. That will decrease the input voltage. And once the input voltage decreases, then what happens? The IB decreases, and IB decreases, IE as well as IC also decreases. That's make the Q point. Automatically the Q point should be in the stable, or Q point is in the active region, middle active region. It means the temperature may increase, still the collector current is stable. How to make it stable? By using your RE. Once the temperature increases, the collector current increases, that collector current will increase the emitter current, and if the emitter current increases, the voltage across the resistor increases, and once the voltage of resistor increases, what happens? That will decrease the input voltage. Or you can write about according to this equation. What you can write? We want VB nothing but the input voltage. That is nothing but you can write about VB is equal to V2 minus VE. Because here the V2 is constant, it is independent of collector current. It depends only R1, R2 and VCC. But here the important thing is nothing but your VB, that depends only on VE. The VE nothing but the voltage across your RE. And according to the equation, what you get? VBE equal to V2 constant. Here what happens? This value will increases, means increases. Then what you get? You get VBE should be, you get the minus, you get the negative value. Negative value. It means the VBE decreases. That will decrease the IB. IB also decreases, and also IC also decreases. And this is the importance of your RE. And another last point about RE. One drawback of RE is there. What is the drawback? Actually, the RE that also give you the negative feedback. That will give the negative feedback. And also another way they give the AC feedback. And how to avoid this? You can use a one capacitor here. You can use a one capacitor here. That is nothing but your CE. It is also called a bypass capacitor. It is called bypass capacitor. If you use this bypass capacitor, this AC signal will be moving towards the ground. It means the one drawback of your voltage biasing, that will give the AC feedback, that can be compensated, that can be overthrown by connecting a CE across the or parallel to the RE. This is about the importance of your voltage divider biasing. And finally, we are finding the Q point, or you have to find out the Q point. And to find the Q point, we want the 2 points. One is called, we want the cutoff point. We want cutoff point, and also we want the saturation point. And we know about already. You consider equation number 4, that is VCE. Consider equation number 4, VCE equal to VCC minus IC RC plus RE. In this equation, maybe equation number 4, if you want the x-axis point, if you want the cutoff point, what you write? To find the point on x-axis, what you want? Put IC equal to 0 in equation 4. If you substitute here IC 0, it becomes the VCE equal to VCC, and this is nothing but your cutoff point. This is nothing but your cutoff point. And we want the saturation point. For saturation point, to find the point on y-axis, what you would write? You can write, put the VCE equal to 0 in equation 4. That becomes you can write here in this equation, substitute here VC equal to 0. Then what happens? The VCC equal to IC into RC, IC RC plus RE. Or you can write also, we want IC equal to VCC divided by RC plus RE. It means we know the saturation point, we know the cutoff point. You can easily draw the DC load line. That is nothing but in your voltage divider biasing. This is nothing but your VCE equal to VCC, and here is your point, and here we are having the VCC by RC plus RE. This is the nothing but this is your cutoff point, this is your saturation point. Saturation point, and this is your cutoff. It means by using the voltage divider theorem or by using voltage biasing, we can find out the Q points. That is, if you want to run the Q point, we want the cutoff point and we want the saturation point. By using this equation, you can go for the cutoff point as well as saturation point. You can easily draw the DC load. And in the next class, we go for the importance of voltage divider biasing. Thank you.